Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. Now, as you've most likely heard by this point, Paul Walker tragically was killed in a car accident on Saturday at a charity event for his organization ROWW. And many of you wondered why I didn't do a video on this. I didn't cover this in Morning Movie News yesterday on Monday. And the reason is that I felt very conflicted about, at this level of reporting, covering, making a video that was an exclusive response to an actor's passing. It almost felt to me like profiting off of an actor's death. But so many of you wanted to know my thoughts, and not really about Paul Walker's passing away, obviously, which is undoubtedly tragic, but really what it means for the Fast and Furious franchise, which is one of the biggest franchises in Hollywood history, and certainly for Universal, its studio. So I do feel comfortable commenting, I think, on the business aspects of this. So I decided to make this video. After all, it'll be the only story in today's episode of Morning Movie News. And I was going to not monetize the video, but after looking into it behind the scenes, for me, that's something I can't do, for business reasons, having to do with my business. But in lieu of that, I've already made a donation to Paul Walker's organization, ROWW, and I'm going to donate all the money that's made off of this video to the organization in addition. And that is what Paul Walker's family has asked that everyone does. UTA, his agency, made a statement that in lieu of gifts and the like and flowers, they ask that you go to ROWW, to Reach Out Worldwide, which is the name of his organization, and the website is ROWW.org, and make any donation that you can. And I would encourage everyone to do this in the spirit of Paul Walker, who I think that we learned from his death, dedicated an incredible amount of his time and resources and money to helping others. And this is an organization, as I said, that he founded. He felt that there was a real lack of skilled volunteers going to help out across the globe in natural disasters. So he started this organization. And I think it's a credit to him that not only did he do so much good, but that he didn't, like so many stars in Hollywood, he didn't try to use that to get himself extra publicity. As I said, many of us didn't even find out about this until his passing, because he died at a charity event. He died doing this. I mean, his death is so unusual in that it encompasses his life so much that he died at a charity event, which, as I said, was a big thing for him, but that it was in a Fast and Furious style car. So you're really combining in a single incident so much of what Paul Walker stood for. And that it all ended in his demise is really just absolutely tragic. So I encourage everyone to make a donation, and I think that it would do some good. And I'm just very impressed with the stories that I've been hearing about Paul Walker, and particularly that one about him purchasing a engagement ring for a soldier who found out they couldn't afford it when they came into the jewelry store, and he told the clerk on the side to put it on his tab. Just really, everybody should be inspired to live their life that way. And even if it's just giving $1 this season to the Salvation Army when you see their collectors on the street corner. I mean, just think of Paul Walker, and I think that would be a wonderful thing to do for him. So obviously, at the end of the day, I think all of us would agree, and Universal and everyone who's involved, that they would happily trade in any Fast and Furious movies in the future to bring back Paul Walker. But that's obviously not an option. So the question is, what is going to happen to this franchise? It is an incredibly anticipated 7th installment. 7th. It's very unusual for a franchise like this. It's not a fantasy franchise to get to this number. And the franchise has been only making more money with each installment. It's very much on the rise. And the real problem here is, as I said, the way that Paul Walker was killed. He was killed in a car, a Fast and Furious style car, and it was really a tragic, horrible, devastating, fiery death. And I can see that being a real problem, potentially for moviegoers. The question is how much time needs to pass here. And Fast 7 has been delayed, partially for script rewrite problems, but I believe to some degree to create more distance between Paul Walker's passing and the franchise, because I think it's going to hit everybody when you're watching his character and the other characters in this film, that it's not all fun and games, and it's actually led to Paul Walker's death. On a side note, I do hope that the government looks into the Porsche, what's the name of this car? The Porsche Carrera GT, which we're only finding out now to the mainstream has been well known as a dangerous car that people have been described as scary. And I'm surprised that it would burst into flames on impact. I mean, they said speed was a factor in the accident, but the fact that this car burst into flames on impact with a light pole seems really, that should not happen. So I hope that, I don't know why a car like this even exists if people know how difficult it is to control and how dangerous it is. So that's another whole other conversation. So as for the Fast and Furious franchise, they have a real problem because surprisingly very few stars pass away during production. It's very unusual. And I think the main reason is because in order for an actor to be able to be in a film, they have to be insurable. It's particularly for a big film like this. An insurance company, they have to go for a checkup. That's one of the reasons Lindsay Lohan is unable to get work. She is considered uninsurable at this point. Basically, an insurance company has to step in and say that they believe that this actor, all the main actors, will be able to fulfill their contract on the work and complete the film. And because they insure them, and if something were to happen like this, I'm sure we'd be very surprised if Paul Walker wasn't insured. The studio gets some money to, I guess, deal with the problem. Although I hope that Universal donates that money because the Fast and Furious franchise brings in so much they clearly don't need it. So what to do with the film itself? He shot some scenes. I think it would be really tragic to leave those on the cutting room floor, to remove him from the film completely. Paul Walker worked very hard on this franchise. It's his defining career franchise. But at the same time, how are you going to deal with, he can't, I think it would be in very bad taste to have him die in a car crash in the film. And also at the same time, I think it would be also in bad taste to have another actor in the film, Jason Statham plays the villain, be responsible for his fictional death when he's actually died in real life. I think that no actor would want that on their, to be even associated with that. So Universal and James Wan have a real problem here in that they need to come up with a way to respectfully give his character the ending that Paul Walker deserves without seeming to capitalize on his death and how it ties into how it actually tragically ties into the franchise. Do I think that this will affect the box office on Fast 7? I'm not sure. It is a very large ensemble cast, and of course the passing of Heath Ledger, the biggest name actors I believe to pass away during the makings of their films, and even Heath Ledger passed away during the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. He did not die during the production of The Dark Knight. But that played into his other, this kind of, as people have said, macabre role to begin with as the Joker. And then, Brandon Lee is the other, I think, most famous death, and he died as a result of an accident with a stunt, with a fake gun, a prop gun on set. So this is a unique problem, and I feel that, I don't know, the question really is, and I'm asking you, do you feel that you can watch a Fast and Furious film and not have the fun taken away and greatly diminished by thinking about what happened to Paul Walker? I mean, you're talking about someone who died such a horrible death that they need the dental records to identify his body and the driver, who was a race car driver. And that just shows that someone who really knew what they were doing was behind this wheel, and that's how dangerous these cars can be. And with that imagery in mind, I think that there is a legitimate problem here, and I think that they're going to have to really take their time and make sure they get it right. I've seen a number of people say they don't want to see the film not be released because that's disrespectful to Paul Walker's work. I agree with that. And I think, potentially there will be a Fast 8, and this will be able to move, Fast 7, I think, will go down in history in the franchise, definitely for being a film that represents Paul Walker and what happened to him and what he gave to the franchise. And the question is, will it also represent the ending of the franchise as well, that it just can't survive beyond this. But as I said, it has a very large ensemble cast, very popular ensemble cast. They should not replace him with another actor. They may be for Fast 8, they might bring somebody else in. I suspect there will be a Fast 8, and I suspect people will go to pay tribute to Paul Walker. The outpouring of support on Twitter, the quote from him, there's some debate as to whether or not it's an actual quote from Paul Walker or if it was from his character in Fast and Furious. But if the speed kills me, don't feel bad for me, I die with a smile on my face. I'm paraphrasing, but I think a lot of people have embraced that. And so, and also maybe Universal can use this as a teachable moment about the dangers of driving in fast cars, and that, you know, these are special effects in movies, and even when you have experienced drivers, you can still, these cars can still get the better of you. So I encourage everyone to go out and to go to ROWW.org, ROWW.org, and make a donation. I think anything would help. And also to just try and be a more charitable person in honor of Paul Walker as well. And write down below how you feel about Paul Walker, what you feel about the situation with the Porsche Carrera GT, and how you feel about the franchise, and what you would think maybe they can do. Rest in peace, Paul Walker, and you will be missed. All right, thank you. Bye.